Thank goodness the zebra have moved across to the right-hand side. They have left these cheetah alone to sleep. So the cheetah, you can see, are really not bothered at all. They are fast asleep, and for the most part have been fast asleep since we got here. And the zebra did look really close from the other angle, but when we pulled up alongside them, they were actually probably about 30 meters away, which is still pretty close, but these cheetah are obviously comfortable enough with them being at that distance. So Wild World, these 5 cheetah could definitely not kill one of these zebras. So these were 3 adult zebra that we had across here, and these cheetah are really small. They're not fully grown yet. Perhaps a coalition of 2 or 3 males could take down some young zebra. It's more than possible. I haven't seen or heard of it happening before. But I don't see why it wouldn't be possible if the calf got separated from the mother or something like that. It's a size that could be possible. Zebra are quite aggressive, like I mentioned earlier, though. They bite and kick, and for anything that wants to hunt them, it's quite a relatively dangerous option, actually. So lions, obviously being big and strong, are pretty well versed in hunting zebra, but I think for the most part they're pretty much the only ones. I've seen a coalition of 2 male cheetah that would have potentially fathered these 5. I've seen them hunting a young wildebeest before, and I know that's not an uncommon occurrence, but yeah, like I said, I haven't heard of them hunting young zebra before, and definitely not big or strong enough to tackle an adult zebra. The weather this side is really looking a little bit ominous. It's gusting and winding. I'm not sure if you can hear the wind in the microphone, but I'm sure you can see the grass blowing around the cheetah. They really are lying quite flat here. I was just thinking the last couple times that I've seen these cheetah, how interesting it is. We often see these 4 cubs on their own. This is now the 3rd time I've got to the cheetah and seen only 4 of them, and been a little bit nervous that one of them, something's happened to it, and then seen it just off to the side. So we were chatting a little bit earlier about the cheetahs splitting up and going on their own ways, whether the males might stay together or what would happen. And I'm starting to get a feeling like this is what's happening, or what could potentially be happening here. So it is actually, they are a little bit young to be leaving each other, but it is interesting that the one sits on its side by itself all the time. It's a very good question, Narissa. The female cheetah can have up to 6 cubs at a time, which is quite a lot. Between 4 and 6 is normal, probably 4 and 5 being more normal than 6. 6 is a little bit on the more extreme side. But female cheetah are solitary, like I mentioned earlier, and for a single female to single-handedly raise 6 youngsters to adulthood is really, really rare. There's an instance where it happened in the Masai Mara, I think, or the Serengeti, I forget which one, and those cheetah are now world-renowned. People come from all over to see the brothers. On Pinda, we see it quite often, quite regularly. A female will have 4 cubs, and then as they get older and older, she'll lose one, and then she'll lose another one, and she'll end up raising 2, maybe 1 to adulthood. And that, unfortunately, is just the nature of cheetah and their rate of survival. The rate of survival actually on Pinda is much higher than that in the other bigger, larger reserves of southern Africa. Donna, DNA tests on cheetah, we keep a pretty good track of which territory the females are in when they fall pregnant. So we've got a database of information that stores the sightings. So we know that if the mother of these cheetah, for example, was in the north 3 months ago, and then now suddenly she's got 3 little 3-month-old cubs, we know she was in the north. It was one of those brothers, and we can kind of link the genetic information to them. There is a lot of kind of work that happens with cheetah and their DNA and genetics, though, because they were persecuted and hunted to such an extent that their genetic diversity is extremely low. The Endangered Wildlife Trust in South Africa runs a really interesting population project where they monitor and help distribute a metapopulation. It's called a metapopulation, and what they do is they'll move cheetah all around the country so that they can keep so different cheetah are continuously mating with different cheetah, and they're not becoming any more inbred. And the reason they do that is because the genetic diversity of the species already is so low. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Cheetah require, generally speaking, a really large area of wild space to roam. I think historically cheetah had massive home ranges, and they would wander far and wide. And with habitat loss and fragmentation, they are one of the species that really has struggled to adapt. And we see that quite regularly with, for example, the high mortality with predators and that sort of thing. These little guys are really not moving at all. You can also see there, on the one on the left, there's a collar. So that's for the habitat team and the guys here at Punda to monitor them. The guides don't get access to that information, but these cheetah haven't moved too much in the last week or so. So they've been relatively easy to find. I think we are going to move off. We'll sit with them for another minute or two and see if anything happens here. But I reckon for the rest of the afternoon they are going to be pretty stationary. So we're going to move off and see if there are any other interesting animals we can find. And hopefully we'll see you again shortly with some other cool animals.